All right, everybody, what's up? And welcome to your reading for the new moon in Taurus, happening the 19th of May in the Northern Hemisphere and the 20th of May in the Southern Hemisphere. We are still in Mercury retrograde until the 14th of May, which is also Mother's Day for the Northern Hemisphere. I'm not sure if it's the same in the Southern Hemisphere. So just be mindful of really trying to run your gears in advance when we're still in this sacred pause, this sacred idle, while we get things organized and ready and tilled and prepared in preparation to move forwards into June and into the second half of May. I'm going to get straight to the reading. I just want to welcome anybody who's new to the channel. Hello, my name is Indigo. I also go by Kate. That's my birth name. Indigo is really what I use for the practice. Indigo Instinct Healing is where you have landed. I do starseed origin mapping, energy healings, readings, and as well as twin flame and ascension journey guidance is the best way of putting it. You can book a private reading with me through the links in the description box below. You can sign up to my newsletter where I give lots of tidbits and advice and helpful information, especially if you're a starseed or a highly sensitive person or an empath. And you can also read my articles on Medium or support me on my Patreon. I've also got a bunch of free meditations on YouTube and lots of other videos other than the readings. And if you are listening to this reading or watching this reading, I do channel to one color of the collective rainbow. And I do want to remind you that it's not necessary for you to watch these videos. It's totally fine to just listen and see what comes up for you as we go along. So our first card for the new moon in Taurus. Yeah, okay. So again, sorry about the bounce there. We have a few more days in Mercury retrograde, but this is going to be applicable to a lot of you beyond Mercury retrograde anyway, because we are in Taurus season. And Taurus is really the grounding force and the foundation of how we build the things that we wish for ourselves in the future. And so the card we got is the Cave and the Receptivity card. And this is really, for a lot of you, this is going to be about your creativity and your creative projects. And a lot of you, this is really going to be about your energetic boundaries. And so it's so, so important for ourselves right now to really be conscious of the size and the shape and what our creative caves look like. If we don't know the limits of our own creative caves and our own safe wombs of expression, of rest, of grounding, and of nurturing, we're going to let things go on and on and on and on and go way past our limits. And we're going to be super exhausted, super depleted, resentful, uncomfortable, and drained before we even get into the fiery heat of the summer. And so if we can be respectful of this need for this sacred cave and this sacred place of creative nurturing, we're going to give ourselves the opportunity to really germinate and really get a dense concentration of what we're trying to build for ourselves through our personal expression, through our creative work. And then when it becomes the heat of the summer and we have that sun and that life force and that busier energy, that really bumblebee energy, we're going to be lifted to be able to push our boundaries further and be able to express ourselves beyond what we thought capable. But if we don't respect our limits now, or we don't know what our limits are, we're going to be burnt out and burnt out in the end of a toothpaste tube with nothing left. And we're going to miss that opportunity for the heat of the summer season to really bring ourselves up and bring ourselves beyond what our capacity is. And for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, this cave of receptivity is really about getting to know what those boundaries look like now. You're entering the winter, you're entering this space where new creative projects can come to birth, but you need to give yourself that space and those boundaries to be able to have those come to light. if you continue to try and push and push and push, like everything is the same and all seasons are the same, then you're going to be beyond depleted when spring comes around for you folks and you didn't take that time to rest and recover. Hopefully we won't lose the camera. I'm going to try my best to touch the laptop as often as possible so that we don't lose it, so it doesn't fall asleep on us. Okay, this card is in relation to others. So relationship with your friends, your family, the people you see every day, the people you share space with, the people you take care of or who take care of you. Yeah, and for some of you, you're going to be like, yay, this is so chill and so easy. And for some of you, you're going to be like, oh, this is really like gets under our skin. So the card that we came up with is surrender. And for a lot of you, especially those of you who felt a little icky with this and who felt that little under the skin kind of feeling, this is really about surrendering to trust. You might not have ever been in a situation like this before, or a relationship like this before, a friendship, whatever this environment is that's coming up for you when I'm talking about this. But it is an opportunity to lean into something foreign and trust more than you usually would. How would things turn out if you expected them to go better than things have in the past? Or if you at least made space for things to go better than they have in the past? For those of you where this really felt like it was under your skin, it's a trust piece. It's I have to control everything because normally when I let go of control, things go to shit. And we have learned to let that become our narrative and let that become our story. And then when it comes to a new situation with new relationships with new people, we pick up the same book and go, I know how this goes. I'm going to control everything because if I let go, everything goes to shit. And so for those icky of you, which that is definitely me in this case, surrendering to trust, surrendering to that place of what if things can go better than I'm expecting them to. What would that look like? What if the waterfall actually takes you to a deeper pool? You know, what if it's better? And for those of you who are easier, that you find this card easier, or it feels like a relief, surrender feels like a relief, a lot of you in this relationship scenario, it's going to feel more of a letting go of the relationship itself or the effort you're putting in. Letting it go as okay, maybe this raft wasn't for me and I'm going to let it go by. And for some of you that can bring up grief. For some of you it will bring up this great sense of relief of, I don't need to try so hard to nurture and till and make sure that these seeds grow and blah, 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 because it's not the relationship that you need to be giving your energy to right now. If it really is meant to feed you and reciprocate to you, then it will come back naturally. But that sense of surrender for you is really like a dropping it and being like, cool, this is just going to float downstream and I don't necessarily have to watch in which direction it's going because it's not my responsibility. Okay. I'm getting a strong play message. Like, this is especially for those of you who feel like they've been working really hard or haven't been able to catch a break or are unsure about a next step. Maybe they're starting something new or they're trying to work through something and it feels kind of like wobbly. Yeah, okay, two-part answer here. One is really like diving into the magic of the universe. And for a lot of you, that's going to mean spending more time making wishes, looking at the stars, letting your soul expand a little bit. Ask the trees for help. Ask your guides for help. I had a client the other day ask me, how do I connect with my guides more often? And the answer is actually surprisingly easy. You just have to talk to them directly. You have to open your heart and ask your guides directly, look, I need a sign. I need your help with this particular thing. Can you show me a synchronicity so I know that you're there? And really communicate with them directly, like they are beings that can hear you, because they can hear your requests, but they're just going to wait in the wings until you call them down to assist you. So leaning more into the magic of all the beautiful possibilities of what could be. What are your dreams of what things could look like? What's your beyond best case scenario? And then dream even a little bit bigger. And then for the other half of this, it also comes down to support. So reaching out and connecting with a friend, someone that you trust, someone that you consider a mentor, really reaching into your circle of support or outside your current circle of support and out to somebody who you can really depend on to reassure you, to boost you, to calm you, to remind you that you're on the right track. We're not after hard answers with this card or with this trickier situation. We're after the support of somebody who loves us unconditionally and will remind us you're moving in the right direction. You're making the right choices. So maybe this weekend, it's also Mother's Day, so maybe your friend is a mom. Reach out to the people or the person that cares about you who you know will support you in whatever endeavor you're in, especially if it's something you're kind of unsure about, because chances are that person's probably going to think that you're doing something really cool or you're doing something really interesting, and you just need their perspective to be a little bit more encouraged in your pursuit of your passion. Okay, last card. And the overarching message, I'm on my moon cycle, so I feel like things are a little bit like blah, blah, blah. But the overarching message that usually comes in at the beginning before I tune in and do all the channeling with the cards, but is coming in now or as a reminder right now. The overarching message for this moon cycle, for the new moon in Taurus, is to let in more light. And I know that this can feel natural with the time of year. We're in spring in the Northern Hemisphere. We're in Taurus season. We're in seed planting season and germination season. And we really want that light to come in to allow us to feel warm and to grow. But really thinking of applying that to ourselves holistically. Where can I let in more light to the situations that I'm maybe trying a little too hard, or especially to the situations where I'm convinced of the outcome? Oh, I have this condition, and so that's the truth. Can you let in more light to that condition or to that belief? What would it look like? Or this always happens when I communicate with this person. Okay, but what would happen if you let in more light? If there were more light in the situation, what would the result be? And just play with that idea. Play with that concept of letting in more light into your life, into your body, into your food, into your water, into your drinks, into everything that you're doing, and see if it changes, at the very least, your perspective and your mindset. Because that really is the beginning of unlocking all of this potential that we have never been able to create in reality, because when our minds are closed, our energetic frequency can only go so high and go to a certain point. I've been wearing a lot of black lately, and I've been feeling a little bit unsure about, if I'm trying to let more light in, why am I wearing so much black? And I realized that black attracts the sun. I'm magnetizing the sun. And so see if there's a situation where you feel like you're being a little bit hard on yourself, and can you flip that perspective on its head a little bit to let in more light even to the way that you're thinking about it. So on that theme and on the theme of letting in more light. Okay, great. So I love this card. This is a new deck for those of you who haven't been with me for a while. This is a brand new deck. I haven't used it very many times. We got the Lotus of Resilience with the beautiful girl at the top of the water there. But we got it in reverse. And it's a very different image when it's in reverse. And the message that's coming through for this is be squishy. You know, for many of us, especially those who are attracted to these readings that I do in particular, the starseeds that tune in, the empaths that tune in, the highly sensitive people that listening to these readings, you're used to being hyper resilient, hyper strong, always have it together, or trying your best to always have it together, or people think you always have it together from the outside. What would it be like if you allowed yourself to be seen a little upside down, to be seen a little squishy, to be seen a little all over the place? Would there be an opportunity possibly for certain friends to feel a little bit more relaxed around you, or to come out of the woodwork and support you in places that you actually just didn't really let people support you before? You didn't allow for people to support you before. The opposite of resilience, I mean, in a tough flip, I guess the opposite of resilience is kind of giving up. But what I mean by that is like giving up the shield, giving up the armor, giving up the strength, that constant strength. What would it be like if, you know, you've been a hardcore runner forever and all you do is yoga for 2 weeks? You know, let yourself be a little squishy, a little soft, a little more forgiving. You know, when we think of resilient, we think of like together and keeping things together and standing back up. What if we let ourselves sink and expand into softness instead? So that is all I have for you folks today. If you would like to support me or my work, I'm on Patreon. My Medium articles are gaining some traction. It's mostly about starseed stuff, so if you're curious about that, definitely check out my Medium, the writing that I'm doing on Medium. You can always support me on PayPal or book a reading. I really love doing readings for folks. I also do energy healing. If you're in Nova Scotia, I do them in person. I do 90-minute treatments. But if you're online somewhere, I do long-distance Reiki as well. I have reviews on Google. People do find them effective. They are still deeply healing, and I get a lot of channeling and a lot of downloads. And so they're definitely worth trying out, especially when the Mercury retrograde deal is still on, as well as twin flame stuff. This has been coming up a lot more often. I am in union with my twin flame. We are not in a romantic union. We were in a romantic relationship for 5 years, off and on. But I do twin flame readings as well. And so if you're wondering about that or you need help, reach out to me. And if you don't want to connect with me, you can reach out to my twin flame as well. They're Soulful Healing, Leo Mayers. I can link them in the description box, or even really just drop a comment and I'll link you directly. And thank you so much for being here. I'm really, really grateful. Please like and subscribe to the channel, like the video. Please share it if it resonated with you and you feel like it might resonate with someone else. And stay weird, stay human, inhuman, weird beings, strange selves. Stay soft and reach out to those that love you. Take care. Blessings.